Good evening, and welcome to the April 3rd edition of ETV News. I'm Jacob Wurst.
And I'm Kyla McKinney. We've got a full rundown ahead, so let's get right to it.
On Monday, Transgender Day of Visibility was celebrated not only around the world, but on Eastern's campus as well. Students were able to pick up a free t-shirt to commemorate the day. There was also a group photo opportunity with remarks from Daniel Clausen, who is a queer and trans artist. Guest speaker Roman Christians also spoke to students on the importance of prioritizing trans joy, friendship, and resistance. This day was coined by trans advocate Rachel Crandall back in 2010. She wanted a day dedicated to uplifting transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary people, all while acknowledging the battles they may have faced due to discrimination.
This Monday in the Fine Arts Center, Eastern singers, staff, and students participated in the celebration of women composers. The celebration featured performances from multiple Eastern singers, performing songs by many historic female composers. The songs highlighted composers dating back to the 19th century, like Clara Schumann, as well as more modern-day composers such as Sarah Bareilles and her song When He Sees Me from the musical Waitress. The celebration also involved composers and songs from multiple countries and languages. All the singers performed wonderfully, and it was a fantastic celebration of some of the greatest female composers to have ever lived.
Breakfast for dinner is a big deal here at Eastern. Breakfast and dinner, too, especially when chocolate chips are added to the equation. Jared Toffel is in the stew to highlight one of the best days of the week. Jared.
Hello everyone, my name is Jared Toffel and I'm live here in the Student Center where every Thursday night is pancake night. But this Thursday is special since it's the first Thursday of the month, which means it's chocolate chip night. Come to the cafe at 8:30 to enjoy some hot stacks, and don't forget to check the bottom of your plate for a star to win prizes. And I'd like to give a little shout out to ETV member, congrats to director Jason for winning last week's talent show with his guitar performance. That's all for me. I'm Jared Toffel with Nick Walsh behind the camera, sending back to you guys in the studio.
On Monday, March 31st, the Office of Career Services hosted the ECSU Job Fair for the spring 2025 semester. Students had the chance to discover new opportunities in the Betty Tipton Room in the Stew from 1 to 4 p.m. with employers such as Foxwoods, Hartford Healthcare, Hartford Public Schools, and many more in attendance. Career Service also had 2 rooms set up as a serenity space to relax and their career closet to find your professional needs for clothing. Make sure to check out @Eastern Career on Instagram for more life after college events.
The keynote speakers for the 2025 commencement ceremonies have been announced. At the university's undergraduate commencement on May 20th, Dr. Mary Kay Grant will deliver the keynote address, while also receiving an honorary degree. Dr. Grant is a nationally recognized leader amongst higher education. On May 17th, the speaker for the graduate commencement will be Connecticut Attorney General William Tong. He will also be honored with Eastern's inaugural Distinguished Public Service Award.
As daylight hours extend and summer approaches, it's important to shed light on a condition that affects more people than many realize: seasonal affective disorder. Despite the changing seasons, this form of depression continues to impact individuals in significant ways. Let's take a closer look at the effects of SAD and its broader implications.
Hello, my name is Kayla Reed, and I'm currently here in the David G. Carter Science Building, here to interview Dr. Christy Salters Pedno to talk about the effects of seasonal affective disorder, or known as SAD.
Seasonal affective disorder is actually, it's not different than major depressive disorder. It's a type of presentation of major depressive disorder. So the diagnosis, the most typical diagnosis is actually major depressive disorder with a seasonal pattern. So it's not actually a separate diagnosis, it's sort of this subdiagnosis. Most commonly when people have seasonal affective disorder, it is characterized by depressed mood that has a pattern that starts in the fall or winter and then typically remits in the spring. And so the symptoms look like depression, significantly low mood on most days for at least 2 weeks, loss of pleasure in activities, sleep disturbances, difficulties with fatigue or energy or motivation, a lot of negative thinking, feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. It does tend to differ from other types of depression in that people with seasonal affective patterns usually have very, very low energy. They tend to have hypersomnia, so sleeping more than usual, while some types of depression are more associated with insomnia. And there tends to be overeating and particularly craving for carbohydrates that goes along with the seasonal pattern. It can appear across, demographics and age groups. However, the most likely onset for seasonal affective disorder is in young adults. So actually, people of traditional college age are at greater risk of developing depression with this seasonal pattern. I should mention that sometimes people don't only have depression with the seasonal pattern, they can also have elevated mood with a seasonal pattern. And so sometimes people develop this elevated mood that happens usually in the spring or summer. So it's not only depressed mood.
The longer we talked to Dr. SP, the better we understood the disorder, and we were wondering if outside factors were affecting it.
So this is really an area of emerging research. There are some growing fields of eco-psychiatry and eco-psychology that are looking at the relationships between, our environments and mental health, including mood disorders. So we do know that, for example, people depending on your latitude, if you have more access to light, you're less likely to develop this seasonal pattern. But we also know that there are other environmental factors that influence our mood. So for example, there is emerging research that, as temperature increases, that temperature changes influence our mood. The more that we have extreme weather events, those are stressful, potentially traumatic events that can lead to mood problems. So we know that our mood is very influenced by our environment. And so anything that changes our environment is likely to change how we experience these kinds of mood problems. So the thing about mood difficulties is that these are multifactorial, meaning they are caused by lots of different factors. So genetic, neurobiological, biological, environmental, psychological, and social. And so that means that there's a wide variety of things that can be helpful or can be parts of the treatment. And the causes for any one individual might be different than the causes for another individual. And so there's lots of different things that can help. Certainly medications can be helpful. Therapy can be helpful. There can be lifestyle changes that are helpful. In addition to that, when people have this seasonal pattern, that type of depression often responds well to light therapy, where there's these special prescribed lights that people can sit under, usually in the morning, and that can help alleviate some of the symptoms. We do know that for people with this seasonal pattern, partially the causes might be related to circadian rhythms. So those sort of biological 24-hour rhythms that our body goes through. And so anything that can help regulate those rhythms might be helpful in preventing this kind of seasonal depression. So that includes things like taking really good care of your sleep, making sure that you have a consistent pattern of good sleep. It can include things like exercise and making sure that you're being exposed to natural sources of light, especially during the winter months. So trying to get outside, being exposed to light. All of that can help regulate those cycles.
SAD is a very important topic, and it's our job to spread awareness. Thank you, Dr. SP, for educating us on this topic. If you or anyone experiencing or suffering from SAD, don't be afraid to reach out. That's all from me. I'm Kayla Reed with Amelia Menes behind the camera, sending it back to the studio.
Rain or shine, he's got you covered. Resident weather boy Dylan Ellis is in the studio to give us the forecast after this short break. Stick with us.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys. You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back. Dylan is in the studio to dish out this upcoming week's weather. What's the weather looking like, Dylan?
What's going on, Eastern? Weather boy Dylan here. Today's ETV forecast. It's a depressing week for weather ahead, so let's just get into it. Today in Willimantic, we saw a high of 62 degrees along with a mix of clouds, wind, and rain throughout the day. Tonight, we're going to see a low of 51 with cloudy skies and winds peaking around 15 miles an hour. On to our extended forecast now. Tomorrow, you can expect overcast skies of a high of 63 degrees and a low of 40, along with winds that are capping off around 15 miles an hour. Saturday, we're going to see a high of 45 degrees and a low of 39 with rainy conditions all day. Sunday, we'll have a high of 59 and a low of 43 of overcast skies and occasional showers. Monday, we're going to see partly cloudy skies with a high of 52 and a low of 33. And finally, for Tuesday, we'll have partly cloudy skies with a high of 47 and a low of 27, along with winds peaking at 15 miles an hour. Let's move on to our Eastern sports forecast now. Tomorrow, the baseball team is heading to Providence, Rhode Island, to face off against Johnson and Wales University. They should expect a high of 65 degrees and partly cloudy skies for their game conditions. On Saturday, the men's and women's track and field teams, are heading to New London, Connecticut for the U.S. Coast Guard Academy Invitational. They're going to see some rainy conditions, though, with a high of 47 as well. The men's lacrosse team is heading up to Plymouth, New Hampshire to face off against Plymouth State University. They should expect some chilly conditions, and 40 degrees and rainy. The baseball team is heading to Providence for a doubleheader against Rhode Island College. The weather isn't looking too good for them, though, 48 degrees and rainy. The softball team is heading up to Gorham, Maine to face off against the University of Southern Maine for a doubleheader. Weather also isn't looking too good for them, 42 degrees and rainy. Finally, for ETV Sports Forecast, the women's lacrosse team is hosting a game against VTSU, like I said earlier, for Saturday here in Willimantic, 45 degrees and rainy. That wraps up this week's ETV Forecast. For ETV News, this has been Dylan Ellis. Let's send it back to our anchors.
Thanks, Dylan. Experts explain why adults can and should still embrace the comfort of sleeping with stuffed animals.
Also, finding a job just became way harder. More details after this short break.
Stick with us.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Thanks for sticking with us. CDC leaders ordered staff not to release their experts' assessment showing the risk of catching measles is high in areas near outbreaks where vaccinations are lagging. That's according to internal records reviewed by the nonprofit ProPublica. The agency's plan to roll out the news was aborted. It would have stressed the importance of vaccinating people against the highly contagious and potentially deadly disease that has spread to 19 states. A CDC spokesperson told ProPublica the agency decided against releasing the assessment, quote, because it did not say anything that the public doesn't already know. She added that the CDC continues to recommend vaccines as, quote, the best way to protect against measles.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Justice Department will seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione faces state and federal charges for allegedly shooting Thompson in Midtown Manhattan in December. Bondi said Tuesday she will direct the interim U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York to seek the death penalty if Mangione is convicted on capital murder charges. He's pleaded not guilty to the state charges. He's charged in a federal criminal complaint, but the indictment is pending.
Employment opportunities in the U.S. are down. The number of job openings fell to 7.57 million in February. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Job Openings and Labor Turnout survey just released. The report is considered a measurement of labor market demand. At the beginning of the year, the number of available jobs was 7.76 million. U.S. employers likely pared back on their hiring plans in February, due in part to heightened economic uncertainty.
Hooters has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but the bar-restaurant chain says it isn't planning to go anywhere. Hooters plans to sell all of its 100 company-owned restaurants to 2 franchisee groups. The company was founded in 1983 in Clearwater, Florida, but it has come under fire in recent years, including several lawsuits for racial and gender discrimination. Last year, Hooters closed dozens of restaurants because of rising food and labor costs. The Wall Street Journal reports the chain plans to return its original founders as part of a new management team in its reorganization.
Busted. No more perfect brackets remain for the women's NCAA basketball tournament. Around 5 million brackets were submitted to various outlets, and it wasn't until UCLA kicked off LSU on Sunday that the final perfect bracket fell. This happened after the 58th game of the tournament. The 57 consecutive correct picks to start the tournament surpassed last year's final bracket. That streak ended after the first 50 games. Meanwhile, in the meantime, the final men's bracket fell in the second round, the 43rd game of the tournament, where number 3 Kentucky beat number 6 Illinois.
Stuffed animals aren't necessarily just for kids. Experts say adults can sleep with them too, and some think it might even be a good thing. It also appears to be getting more common. Plush sales grew during the COVID-19 pandemic. One industry expert says in 2024, about a fifth of plush toys were sold to adults over 18. According to one expert, stuffed animals can help with better sleep, giving the brain a signal that it's time to wind down.
Up ahead, Kevin Gonzalez is in the studio to give us an update on Eastern athletics. Don't go anywhere.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
Yo, welcome. Hi.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age, some others don't.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
From ECTV,
hi, and welcome to EC's News Before Noon.
News 22,
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's edition of News 22.
and now ETV, this student-ran news broadcast has been giving the news to the Eastern community for over 30 years. From news on campus, national news, one-on-one or editorial segments, weather forecasts, and of course our very own Eastern athletics. Your campus, your news, from ETV. We are live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. only on our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Instagram at ETVnews_.
Sticking with us, let's check in with Kevin to see what's happening around Eastern Athletics this week.
Hey everyone, Eastern Athletics had some big wins and standout performances, so let's get right into it. Eastern's women's lacrosse held off Westfield State University 18-15. The Warriors improved to 8-2 on the season and 4-0 at home, using dominant draw control to secure the win. After jumping out to a 6-0 lead, Westfield went on to tie the game at 12-12 in the third quarter, but the Warriors responded by winning 7 straight draws, setting up a 3-goal run from graduate Kaylee Drobish and junior Alexa Vazini to regain control. Drobish led the team with 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 draws, and 4 ground balls, while Vazini and graduate Yvonne Labu each added 3 goals. First-year goalie Maisie Rucat made 7 saves to secure her 7th win, and Eastern finished with a +12 shot advantage while claiming 22 of 36 draws. The Warriors host VTSU Castleton in a Little East Conference matchup this Saturday. Eastern baseball dominated Sunny Maritime 16-2. 11 players contributed offensively as the Warriors pounded out 16 hits in a statement win. Eastern secured 6 runs in the first inning, highlighted by 2-run doubles from senior Alejandro Sorino and sophomore Ian Moser. Graduate Nathan Farino made history, moving into the program's top 10 in career wins with his 21st victory. He struck out 7 over 5 innings, allowing only 3 hits. Senior Ray Luzoni led the offensive charge, reaching the base 5 times with 3 hits, 3 runs, and 2 RBIs. Senior Josh Cofrancesco drove in 4 runs with 3 hits, and Ian Moser added 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs, and 2 RBIs. Next up, Eastern faces Rhode Island College in a Little East Conference doubleheader this Saturday. 3 Warriors earned weekly honors for their standout performances. Senior Adam Schmidt dominated the 110-meter hurdles, hosting the fastest time in LEC this season and qualifying for the New England Division III Championships. Sophomore Gregory Helinski locked down the net in men's lacrosse, shutting out Salem State for 43 minutes and recording 11 saves in a big conference win. And on baseball field, senior Francis Ferguson threw 6 scoreless innings against 8th-ranked Regina Eastern into a victory. Congrats to all the players who were recognized. Best of luck to all Eastern teams hitting the field next week. To stay locked in on the action, make sure to follow us at Eastern Athletics for daily updates, highlights, and more. That's a wrap for Eastern Athletics this week. I'm Kevin Gonzalez, sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for the update, Kevin. That wraps up tonight's edition of ETV News. Please sure to be following us on all of our social media platforms and to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
From director Jason Saloy, producers Kaylee Roberts and Emily Madden, and the entire ETV News staff, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Kyla McKinney.
I'm Jacob Wurst, wishing you a great evening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week, Eastern.